Hi, I'm Jonice, and today's question is, how long does it take to do a short sale, or what is the timeline? Now realize this is going to really be dependent on who you pick to do your short sale. So I'm going to tell you what our timeline is when you're working with us, because I could give you hundreds of examples of people that have called me that have tried to do this with agents that are working with attorney firms or law firms, and who knows, it could be when you're 95 years old, because it's just a disaster in a lot of those cases. So I'm going to go over what the timeline is if you're working with us, and this is the type of timeline that you would expect if you decide to have us do your short sale. Now, a short sale consists of 5 steps. So those 5 steps start once you have an offer. So first thing is, once you've listed your house with us, you have some paperwork to do. We'll list your house. We'll have an offer on your house normally within 7 to 21 days. I know that may seem short, but if you price a house correctly in today's market, you're going to have an offer within 7 to 21 days. When you hear other than that, it's because the agent that's listing your house doesn't know what they're doing. Once we have that offer, then the timelines start. We'll put together a complete short sale package with all your documentation, and we'll send that off to the bank. It'll then take 2 to 3 weeks for the bank to assign a negotiator. I know that seems kind of crazy that the bank would waste a half month or 3/4 of a month to get someone working on your file, but it's just the way it is. Once we have a negotiator, we move then to step 2, which also will take 2 to 3 weeks, and that's where the negotiator reviews all the documentation that we've sent in to verify that it's correct, we're not missing anything, and that there's not any blatant red flags. This again should only take 2 to 3 weeks, but if you're missing something, which that won't happen with us, but with someone else you're missing something, then that'll add probably a week. By the time you get that, whatever it is you're missing, you'll then actually have expired documents, because your bank statements and your pay stubs by this point would be expired. So then once you send in what the negotiator asked for because your agent missed it, then immediately you'll get a request for updated bank statements and pay stubs. Once you have those in, assuming that the package is complete in the right order, then the negotiator will review it. With us, I don't think we ever get caught up here. So we almost always then go to step 3, which is where the negotiator orders evaluation. And evaluation could be several things. It could be an appraisal from a real appraiser, but more commonly it's done as what's called a broker's price opinion, or a BPO. If you hear someone say BPO, that stands for broker's price opinion, or broker price opinion. And that's an unaffiliated agent, so he's not affiliated with us, not affiliated with the buyer's agent, that the bank contracts to go out and determine if the price that we received for your home is a valid price. And what's a valid price? Well, within 10% of what they believe your home is worth. So if you're 10%, well, I guess if the offer is more than 10% above, then you shouldn't have a problem either. But as long as your offer is not more than 10% below, you normally will be okay. That also takes 2 to 3 weeks to get in. Once that's in, then the negotiator will move to step 4, which is amazingly enough exactly the same as step 2, but now it has your valuation in it. So they'll be doing a review of the file with everything that you sent and a valuation to see if it matches the investor's guidelines. Very likely at this point you're going to be asked to send in updated bank statements and pay stubs. If they're ready and we send them in right away, it may only pushes off a day or 2, but just assume by now, if we didn't get asked for them during the broker price opinion, we're going to be asked for them when it goes to the second review. Your file at this point, if it's being done correctly, should get moved forward to final approval. Once you get to final approval, again, it takes, and final approval is just where like a senior vice president or a vice president or someone that's higher up at your lender or the investor reviews, makes sure that everything looks like it's done correctly, and then signs off on it. Once that's signed off on, a lot of times we'll hear that it's coming, but it may take another 7 to 10 days before we actually get emailed or sent a written verification of your approval. And once we have that approval, assuming that it says what we want it to say, that they're releasing the liens, they're satisfying the loan so that you don't have any remaining balance, and they're letting you be done and move on with your life, then we consider that a successful approval, and we then can notify the buyer that we have an approval. They'll then do their inspection. Once the inspection's done, they'll do their appraisal, and we'll be closing normally within 30 days to 45 days of when we get that approval. So amazingly enough, it may sound relatively simple. It is when it's done correctly. The problem is that 90% of the people doing short sales don't do them correctly. Whether it's an attorney, law firm, whether it's an agent that says they know what they're doing, whether they say they have some sort of training, that means nothing. Would you go to a brain surgeon that had been trained to do brain surgery but had never ever done it? Okay. The other thing about it is would you go to a brain surgeon that says, oh yeah, I've done 5 brain surgeries, I was successful on one of them or 2 of them? Well, they probably leave that part out. They'll just say, oh yeah, I've done some short sales, or I've done some brain surgeries. The problem is you don't want someone that's done some. You want someone that does them all the time. We specialize in them. It's if not 75% of our business, very close to it. And we know how to do it. We'll take care of you. We'll make it smooth. We'll make sure you don't get red flagged. Again, all you need to do is call us. My number, 612-508-4100. That's my cell number. Again, 612-508-4100. And we'll take care of you, and we'll get you on with your life and get rid of the stress. Thanks so much.